So when we bought our property, we had friends go look at it for us, and they said the structure was good and it was 10 acres of land. We got a great deal on it. But by the time we got here, you can see that it's overgrown and needs tons and tons of work. But that wasn't the only issue. The main problem that we ran into was Talkeetna received record snowfall and record rainfall this year. So not only did we have an overgrown site and a shell of a cabin that we had to turn into a house, we soon found out that we had water issues as well.
So here's the problem. That wasn't there when the property was originally being looked at. So now we have to figure out how to drain this area. Which sucks.
So as you can see from the rest of this little sped up clip, there's a whole lot of work to be done. There's so much trash, and the house is not obviously livable yet, and there's more brush to cut and more trees to clear. There's just a whole bunch of work that needs to be done here to make this a home.
Hey guys, so we just want to make an update video and share some updates along with some blessings that we've had along the way while we've been working on our property.
Yeah, so as you saw at the very beginning of the video, we were feeling pretty defeated. There was so much water on the property and so much brush. We had seen the pictures on Zillow, but when we got here, it was just a lot more work.
The pictures didn't match the box.
No, it was so much more work than what we had kind of thought. So
on top of the water, and you can only see like a 1/100th of the water. There's water all the way around the house. You can't see that though because of all the overgrowth. There was mosquitoes, like everybody's been complaining this summer about how the mosquitoes are bad. They all came from our property.
Yeah. They all live there,
like literally,
and they're born there.
We went and got mosquito nets and stuff because you couldn't walk. You sprayed DEET in your mouth and they would still come and bite you.
They just land on DEET.
Yeah.
They think it's funny. They laugh. So we had the water issues, which the house was dry, but all of the surrounding property was soaking wet like a swamp. And then we had the mosquito issues, and then we met our neighbor, which was also interesting. And
he let us know that there's some morally questionable people in the area and that they would rob us blind.
Basically. So we decided to go a different route. We had planned to buy like a solar system and have this whole setup, but we didn't really want to invest like $6,000 in a solar system for us to come back and it not be here.
And like water pumps and
well pumps, yeah. So we have decided to do things a bit more minimalistic. We're still going to have electricity, but our main source of power will be from a generator, and that way we can take it with us when we leave, put it in storage, and we're going to have a water storage tank on the property. So we had to revamp some things, but we were feeling pretty defeated before we got to that part. So it was just the brush, the structure, the water, the mosquitoes, the neighbors. We were like, at what point, I said to Andy, at what point do we cut our losses and run? And Andy's been like a trooper through the entire thing. So we had...
Y'all know me, I'm stubborn. I don't give up very easy. It's a blessing and a curse, right?
We had our first estimate. People come out and looked at the property for us because we knew that the water mitigation, it was more than what we would be able to do ourselves. So we called some people. They came out, basically told us that it's hopeless. Like, good luck.
Put your house up on stilts, as they said.
Yeah, and buy a boat.
Jack it up 3 feet. Literally, they said jack your house up 3 feet, and that's all you can do.
Yeah. So we were like, all right, that's awesome.
Hope the creek don't rise.
Yeah. And so like we just didn't know what to do, and we'd been praying through the whole thing, but we really started praying specifically for this and for guidance and just what we needed to do and direction and clarity. And we needed a contractor because we had to ask him like a few things.
We had a lot of questions. So the bones of the house are pretty solid, but we were kind of questionable on it because You could tell most of the lumber was rough cut lumber and stuff like that, and so we weren't sure if we could cut out certain pieces for support and things like that, and so we wanted to contract the wiring in there. So we wanted a contractor to come in and just spend an hour or two with us and ask as we just shot questions at him, so we could figure out a better direction about how to go about fixing everything up.
Yeah.
And so one morning, me and Megan sat down. We literally called every single contractor we could find
in the Talkeetna area.
In a Google search.
And they didn't answer, or we got
Phone
answering
was
machines,
disconnected.
or the phone were disconnected, or whatever. So we were really feeling pretty defeated at that point. And we came up the road to our friend's house here. Actually, it's where we're filming it right now, is on their front porch while Lucas is taking a shower. And so we decided that we would talk to them about it. And it was funny because Dan, the man that is helping us, said, "Oh, well, the guy that built our house is just right down the road." And so he was like, "You should just stop and see him."
That fellow built houses for 50 years and retired. This house was actually the last house that he built. And,
Yeah.
And he's literally the next driveway down.
So we stopped and talked to him, and he agreed.
I gotta sneeze.
Go ahead. He agreed to come with us down to the property and look at everything. And he came down and...
He was working, so he was
Yeah.
dragging his road and he was trying to get it unclogged. And he was like, "Well, let me finish this and I'll come right down." So literally, I grabbed a crowbar and helped him get his drag unclogged. He hopped in the truck and literally stopped everything he was doing and came down. We actually also found out it was his birthday
Yes.
as well.
So he came and helped us and spent like an hour and a half with us on his birthday just answering questions. But
It was all good news.
here's the blessing. Yeah. He said, "I know this looks like really overwhelming and daunting right now." But he was like, "You guys are so lucky." He said, "You have great bones." He said, "Whoever built this little cabin, built it right." And he said, "It's not like primo quality what they're using in here, because they did use rough cut lumber. But he said, everything is built super solid." And he said, "You have a great structure here." And he was like, "It won't take very much to turn this into something special." And he started explaining to us about how he had taught each one of his children to build. And he said, there's just something really satisfying in building something and knowing that it's going to be there, long after you.
He talked about how he felt with all the houses that he had built and all the kids that he got to grow up in those houses and stuff like that, that he had become a part of so many different families, and he was happy to have been able to be a blessing towards all those other families.
Yeah. And then he told us that he would come and help us with anything, which is fantastic news. We have so many people helping us. Eric Soley has been like incredible. We just call him and FaceTime him all the time. My dad has been super fantastic. And then, of course, our new friend Ken that lives on this road, that was a contractor for 50 years.
Mr. Mattingly.
Yeah. So that was super incredible. And we decided to get like a second opinion about the water and everything, because we were feeling like, all right, we can do this. And so we got a second opinion, and he came out and he had good news and bad news. He said, "Oh yeah, it can definitely be fixed."
They had a way to fix everything, but it was going to cost a good bit. A lot of that was because they were worried about the road in and bringing heavy trucks, because there's water on both sides of the road. It's only probably 20 feet wide maximum, if that. Excuse me. And there's water on both sides of it, and so they were worried about blowing that road out with heavy dump trucks, and so they wanted to add some stuff there, and then to add the stuff into our driveway, because right now you still can't drive to our house with all the water and stumps and stuff.
You can get close, but you can't get right to the house.
And so bottom line
stinks.
was he said it'd be about $22,000 just to put a road and gravel in.
Yeah.
And just to share a little extra, like that's about 2/3 of what we paid for the entire property,
Right.
and the cabin. So
Yeah, together.
that was kind of out of the budget.
Yeah, and we have a strict budget for this, because one of the main benefits of selling our house in Waynesville was that we're completely out of debt, and we have enough money to build our house in Mitchell County. But of course we have to budget and we have to be careful. And going back in debt is something that we've both agreed that we never want to do.
Live in a box before I do that.
Yeah. Or in a swamp, which is what we're doing. So we decided that, like, we can't afford that. We don't want to do that. And he even said that he could break it up into like 3 different
3 easy payments of $7,000.
yeah. And so I don't know, it just still didn't feel right. So, long story short, Andy has been looking around for a closer gravel quarry because one of the reasons it was going to be so expensive is because he was going to have to truck stuff from like an hour away, and it was a lot. So, Andy actually found somebody that's like 7 miles from our property that has a gravel quarry, and he said, well, we could just get somebody, you know, to bring it here and dump it.
Caleb, I need your help.
Yeah, we need my brother here to help us push everything around and level it out.
Just come up here and run a track hoe for about
But
a day or two.
the other part of that is that we would have to operate machinery. We'd have to rent like a track hoe or whatever.
And apparently Megan doesn't trust me around heavy equipment because I am all for it.
Yeah, he's all about it, but we haven't ever done that. And that's
Who cares?
that's a lot of money
It's Alaska.
to mess up.
Come up here and do what you want.
Right. So we were playing with that idea, but we were a little hesitant still. So fast forward to our second blessing. Today, we were on our property working, and we had our first official visitor.
Yeah, and we met him briefly because we'd noticed his no trespassing sign was down and his truck was in there. So we stopped by, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 days ago. His name's Vic. And he came by. He said he was going to just stop by and see how we were doing. And it turned out to be a real swell fella.
Yeah, he loves Jesus.
We got to talking about building and stuff like that, and that led to other things. And we got to share our faith with him and him with us. And it was just a really nice... Kind of started shifting our thoughts on our neighbors and stuff like that.
Yeah, we felt really good about it.
Yeah.
And then the next piece came, we were talking and explaining everything about our property, and he said, and that we were nervous about trying to operate machinery, and he said...
So Vic ran a business for 40 years of logging and excavating.
Yes.
And so he's taking his mom back down. She came up, he brought her up to visit, and he's taking her down, and he's going to come
to
back
Pennsylvania.
up. And he said when he comes back up, he's bringing a skid loader, and he's like, so if y'all need me to move some gravel or something around, I can do that. Yeah, that's no problem. I've done that my whole life. Hey.
So
literally the Lord will provide. You just got to
Yes.
have faith.
yeah,
Have faith and keep trucking. Don't give up first sign of hardships. That's just the devil trying to dissuade you. That's all it is.
so we're back at it.
Keep on keeping on.
Deleted.
What's the matter?
When we first got here,
Oh man, I couldn't hold that one. All right. Restarted at 45. The bags have started picking my nose anyway. Here we go.
hey guys, we just wanted to share like a couple of updates and
All right. Nope, we just passed a minute.
okay. All right, 1:10. You ready?
Yep.
Okay.
It's 3 seconds.
Okay. Hey.
What the hell? You really can't start videos.
All right, are you ready?
Yeah, I've been ready.
Okay.
Start making me laughing.
Okay.
You're doing right now. We haven't started.
All right. Hey guys, we just wanted to share a couple of updates with you.
All right, I think we
Okay,
should. There are
all
2
right.
minutes. I think we should restart.